I'm out here filming some new ads. I really want to share exactly how I do this because it has completely changed my business and my life. I think I've talked about it a little bit on this channel, but I've been in debt since I was 17. At its worst, it was close to 50K. I was paying about $1,500 a month just to keep up with my minimums. Over the past year, we really decided that we want to attack this debt, get rid of this debt. I'm married now, so it's not just my burden. Last fall, I was able to make some progress. I put a big chunk of money towards the debt, and then I had a really rough winter. And from November to February, I was really only bringing in like $1,000 a month, and so we were kind of struggling. I started running these ads. March, April, May were close to 10K months each. And yesterday, I finally paid off all of the debt. We are completely debt-free, which feels amazing. It's something that I don't even remember being debt-free. Like I said, I've had debt since I was 17, so it's just been a normal part of my life for the past almost 20 years. So I wanna give you all the details, exactly how I run these ads. Hopefully you can just copy this system and grow your business as well. Let's get started. This is my desert filming setup. Just a diffuser there, so we have some nice shaded light and mountain background. So why ads? Ads are the best way to reach a cold audience at scale. Cold audience is just people that don't know anything about you or who you are or what you do. And you could do cold outreach, cold calling, cold emailing, in person, approaching people cold. I've done all of that, but it's very time consuming. And honestly, it's kind of exhausting. I got some rough cold emails, walking around to businesses and just getting no's all day long. It's tiring. Ads, you're reaching a lot of people. They're always running in the background, and you don't have to have those awkward interactions. People just skip your ad, or they'll watch it, and then they're approaching you and they're already kind of warm. So the selling process is a little easier, and you're just in a better position negotiating if someone's approaching you. That's not to say that they're perfect. Ads definitely have some risk. Obviously, you have to spend some money. And if your ads aren't efficient, you're just burning that money. So the learning process can be a little scary. Spending money and not knowing if you're gonna make it back, a little scary. But the method I'm gonna go through in this video really kind of gets you started, gets you learning and gathering data with small amounts of money. So it doesn't feel too intimidating. And then you can always scale it up if things are working out for you. Let's get into the exact type of ads that I run. So I'm only running ads on Meta's platform, which is Instagram and Facebook. I've played around with it in the past just to see if it would work for me. And I did some single image ads or some carousels, and none of those really worked out. I was just burning money. I stopped doing it. That was a couple years ago. Then a few months ago, I watched another YouTuber's video about some reels that he made, and he just posted them organically on his Instagram, and they brought in some leads. And so I made this reel. Hey, Salt Lake City. My name is Nick Roush. I'm a headshot photographer, and I take photos like this. I'm looking to add 5 new clients to my schedule for the month of March. So if you know of anyone that needs a new headshot, send them this video. And if you're the one that needs an updated headshot, just go click the link in my bio. And I just put it organically on my Instagram to see how it performed. It did pretty well on Instagram, so I thought I would put a little bit of ad spend behind it and see how it worked as an ad. So I went back into Meta, I got this uploaded as an ad, and I ran it for a little while, and it actually did good as an ad. It brought in some leads and led to a few leads that led to even bigger, higher paying video jobs. So video ads work really well. I think it's just easier to hook someone. Sometimes you can hook them with a really good photo if they're maybe they're looking for a new headshot and you have a carousel of really good headshots. That's something I'm gonna test down the road. But right now I would say focus on video. So if I've convinced you to run ads, let's go over all the stuff that you're gonna need to get started. So business-wise, you need a nice, clear offer. Just one thing that you're offering that you're trying to sell, and that's what your ads are gonna be about. So in your business, maybe you do a bunch of different things. I would say pick one, kind of the easiest thing to sell, and start there. And you can always try and upsell clients, or you can always expand into those other verticals of your business. But for me, I do a lot of photo work and I do a lot of video work, and the easiest thing for me to sell is just a good headshot. Almost everyone needs a headshot. They don't need a lot of pre-production and planning. Pick a day, pick a time, go out, get a good headshot. So that's what all my ads are built around, offering my headshot services. And then as I do headshots and I meet people that are in business, some CEOs, things like that, I can kind of pitch them on some of my other services, and that has led to other jobs. So you need a nice, clear offer. You have to go in and set up your Meta business suite. And then you have to connect your business Facebook page and your Instagram page, which I think you might need your Instagram to be a business account. I'm not really sure. But you connect those all to Meta Business Suite, and then you're gonna run the ads there, and it's gonna distribute them out to these platforms. Don't go in and just boost an Instagram post as an ad. You don't have nearly as much control. So you set up your business suite, your pages, link them all together, create your ad account, add your payment, like all of this annoying admin stuff. This platform is not intuitive at all. I had to watch so many videos and just go in there and dig around. It really is a pain. But once it's set up, creating the ads and running the ads isn't too complicated. So it's worth it to go in, get all this stuff set up and connected and settled, and then we're ready to go. Another thing you're gonna need to do, if you decide to not use Meta Forms and you want to send people to a landing page on your website, you need to set up your data pixel. It's like a little code that you put on your website and it sends information back to Facebook. I initially wanted to send people to my website, to my landing page, and then I decided to just use Meta Forms. It cuts down on friction, you'll get more leads coming in, and I'm contacting them the same way. I get their phone number, I get their email, and through Meta Forms, it'll start an automatic chat in Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger, depending on where they saw my ad, where they filled out the form. And so I'll contact them on that chat too. And a lot of times I catch them while they're still scrolling the app, and that time to first contact is really important. All right, you have the offer you're trying to sell, you have all your business pages set up. Let's talk about what makes a good video ad. So your ad needs three things. You need a good hook, the body and whatever your offer is, and then you need a good call to action. Most of my ads are kind of in like the 15-second to 45-second range. The hook is probably the most important part. You have to stop them from scrolling. So you really need to catch their attention in the first 2 or 3 seconds. You don't really have to overthink the hook. A lot of times I'm just gonna call out the people that I'm trying to talk to. So I'll start a lot of my videos with, hey, Salt Lake City, or hey, business owners, or something like that. Something that kind of gets them to stop and say, oh, I'm in Salt Lake City. Then you kind of get into your offer and show a little bit about the value you bring. So for headshots, most of my ads cut into a compilation of photos, and I just talk about some of my experience. And then the call to action for me is just fill out the form below. And then they go down, they fill out my Meta form, and I have a new lead. These are some of the headshots that I've taken lately. I'm Nick, and I'm a headshot photographer in Salt Lake City. I'm looking to add 5 new clients to my books this month. So if you or anyone you know needs a new headshot, just fill out the form on this video and let's get started. Try to get like 6 to 8 videos, and you can sometimes use the same body and just have different hooks at the beginning. Maybe you just want to film it all the way through and do different hooks, different body, different call to action, but you want some variations so that you can test and kind of see what performs best. So if you watch any other Meta ad videos, you'll probably see a lot of people talking about Andromeda and how the new way to run Facebook ads is to just have a ton of creative and let Meta figure everything out. And I tried that. I think it works better for big advertisers. If you have huge budgets, you can dump a bunch of creative and dump a bunch of money into it, and the AI will figure out who to send the ads to and who your target audience is. But if you're testing with a smaller budget, you can't put too much creative in there because it'll typically pick a few winners early on, and then you don't actually get a good test because you don't have enough money to send all that creative out to enough people to get data. So I've changed my method. I don't really follow the advice that they're giving for a lot of bigger advertisers. You have to do things a little differently. So my basic campaign structure is I have a testing campaign, and each ad in there is separated by ad set, and I have it running as an ABO campaign, which is ad set budget optimization. So each ad set and just one ad in each of those gets their own budget. And I just do $5 a day, and I test for a couple days, and then I can kind of see which ads are performing better than others. I'll turn off the lesser performing ones, and then I'll move those winning ads into a CBO campaign, which is a campaign budget optimization. All those ads go in their own ad set in that new campaign, and then I can scale that budget up, and Meta will use those winning ads, find the target audience, and it'll distribute the money to the better ads. And sometimes ads that do really well when they're separate testing don't really do well when they have competition. But it's a lot easier to see the data and see what your ads are doing when they're all separate. Let's go over step by step how I set up these campaigns. So we're here in the ad manager. We're going to go to campaigns, click create, and this is the setup for the new campaign. We always want to do leads campaigns. That's really all we care about, bringing in new leads to the business. These engagement, traffic awareness, those are kind of for bigger brands that just need more marketing touch points. They're not actually really going to lead directly to sales for you. So you just want to go with leads. YouTube testing campaign. So this budget strategy, these are the CBO and the ABO options I was talking about. So you want an ad set budget. So every new ad set that you create has its own budget. So as you separate your ads, you get consistent individual testing on each of those. So ad set budget, you don't want to share your budget with other ad sets. Don't click that. Next. Now this is the first ad set that you're working on. So we'll just put in YouTube testing ad set 1. And then down to conversion location, this is either the instant forms or if you're sending them to a landing page on your website. Like I said, lately I've been doing instant forms. Make sure your Facebook business page is selected here. You want to maximize the number of qualified leads. And then we go down here to daily budget. So this is your ad set budget. So for my testing, I just do $5 a day per ad set. So if you're testing 5 ads, it's going to come out to $25 a day. And you want to run these tests for at least 2.5, 3 days to get some data back. So budget for that. If you're doing 5 ads, $5 a day for 3 days, you're going to spend about $75. All right, let's talk a little bit about audience and some of the AI stuff that Meta is pushing. If you see this Advantage Plus on, that's kind of their algorithm trying to take control. And so I think, again, if you're a bigger advertiser, you can let it kind of figure things out on its own. But if you're working with a small budget, I think you want to keep that control. You want to tell Meta who you're targeting and just kind of get rid of as many of those automated things as you can so that you can really see what works and what doesn't work for you. So if you go all the way down here to further limit the reach of your ads, pick this bottom one. And basically Advantage Plus will use what the info you put in here as a suggestion, but then it'll still show your ad to other people. So I've had it show my headshot ads to friends back in Virginia that are obviously not going to hire me. If you go down here to further limit the reach, hit continue, then these settings are rules and it won't show your ad to people outside of these rules that you set. So typically, like, the age range for most of my clients is kind of a little bit tighter. I'm going to do something like 20 to 55 and then make sure I untick this box, use this suggestion. I want this to be a rule, not just a suggestion. And then if you go down here to detailed targeting, you want to add in some interests of the people that you're trying to target. So you think of like a customer avatar. And for me, headshots, I want mostly like professionals, CEOs, business people. So for interests, I just put business, entrepreneurship, things like that. Let's do business. Still have a massive audience size here. Oh, I skipped this one. This is the other important one. You want local people. So locations, I'll put in Salt Lake City, and that's a pretty good radius. I might even bump this up to like, let's say like, what's 40 miles look like? Yeah, so I mean, down here, Provo is probably like a 45-minute to an hour drive. I'd be okay with clients finding me all the way down there. We can meet somewhere in the middle for a headshot. Maybe if I feel like driving down there, charge a travel fee or something like that. You really need to untick this box. I forgot to do this, and this is why I was delivering to a friend in Kentucky, a friend in Virginia. Unclick this reach more people. This will, again, make this a suggestion, and it'll start delivering to people outside of that radius. A lot of Meta suggestions are not helpful. Don't listen to them. All right, so we have a radius, we have an age, all genders, and some interests. So pretty good audience here, 600,000 to 715,000 people. That's still a lot of people, but it's not huge. It's pretty targeted, and I think most of the people in this audience would be interested in my work. This campaign score, ignore this. As you start to make these custom changes, you'll see this go down and down. Don't worry about that. Placements, I would go in here, show more settings, platforms. You want to turn off audience network. You just want your ads to run on Facebook and Instagram. And maybe you don't even want one of those. Then down here it says allow limited spending to excluded placements. So it's going to spend some of your budget on here, even if you untick it. So you want to turn that off. Again, we don't want any of these suggestions. So now you have your ad set all set up. And now this is your actual ad. So we're going to name it. Typically I match it to the ad set. So I know YouTube testing ad 1. And this ad name is the same as the video file name that I'm going to upload. So when I'm making my ad videos, I name the file name in a way that I'll recognize it and can keep things organized. And then I'll go in and name my ad and my ad set after that file name. This should be your business Facebook page. This should be your business Instagram profile. Single image. Again, we're doing video. If you want to go in and create carousel ads, sure, do that. But I'm just doing video stuff now. So single image or video. We don't want multi-advertiser ads. This will show your video mixed in with other people's ads. You just want all the attention, right? Destination. So this is where you set up your instant form. Let's talk about instant forms now for a little bit. So one of the big problems you'll hear with Meta instant forms is that you get a lot of trash leads or bots or people that aren't really interested. They accidentally fill out your forms. So you want to create a form that has a little bit of friction. I think Meta forms naturally have less friction than a landing page, but you don't just want anyone to be able to autofill this and hit submit. So I work in a few questions to kind of weed out the bots. So a couple multiple choice questions and some short answers. We'll go in and look at the exact form that I'm using right now. Higher intent basically has a review page at the end so they can confirm their info. You want the leads that are coming in to be ones that want to buy from you. More volume, you might get more leads, but they're probably going to be lower quality. I keep this open so that if someone that doesn't need a headshot, but they know their brother does, they can send the ad to them or send this form to them and they can fill it out. So you want to keep open. Flexible form, I turned this off because this basically will allow Meta to adjust your form for different people. I don't want that. I want everyone to see the same thing. So turn that off. Next, you go to your intro. Shows you a little preview here on the right. Your headline, your description. I kind of hate using AI, but I use ChatGPT to help me brainstorm some different options to come up with this. It was actually pretty helpful. Here, I just add in a few multiple choice questions. How many people need headshots? Where will your headshots be used? These questions aren't super important, but they just weed out the bots. Again, it adds a little bit of friction. So the people that fill this out probably care a little bit more than if you just had no questions. And then a short answer, what prompted you to look for headshots? And people just say, I saw your ad, or some people will tell me that they're starting a new business or they're changing jobs. Maybe they give you some interesting info in here that you can follow up on and they know that you're a real person and not an AI chatbot. And then you just do contact info in here. I do full name, email, phone number, and then I put their company name, but this is optional. And then I can figure out, oh, maybe I could help this company with some video stuff. So it's nice to know what company they work for. You are going to have to make a privacy policy for this form. The ending page is, thanks, we got your info, we'll reach out, that sort of thing. This additional call to action, I just have them go to my website, and then down here, connect with leads in Messenger. I have this ticked. Every time a new lead comes in, it'll start a conversation either in Facebook Messenger or Instagram chat, and it just has all the lead info. And I think from me, it says this call to action, like you can go to our website now, or you can visit our website, but then I'll go in there and try and send a message to that lead right away. I don't require verification to submit the form. I feel like that would cut out a lot of people because I probably wouldn't do that step. This stuff is on by default because in your instant form, you have it start a chat. I tried using this chat builder and putting something more customized in there. It didn't work. It's kind of clunky and it was sending messages twice. And so just don't do any of that. Here's ad creative. This is where you actually upload your ad. So you're going to set up creative, video ad. I'm just going to pick here. This is like one of my headshot ads. Just pick that one. Next, primary text, headline. This is like all the text that appears with your ad, like in the caption or overlaid on top of the ad. You can kind of use ChatGPT to brainstorm some variations, try and make it sound not AI, And then call to action. This is like the button that shows up on the ad. What do you want it to say? So you could do get quote. You could do book now. I like see details. Fill out all that. Image gen AI makes really weird AI versions of your ads. So you want to make sure all of these are off. And then there's more Advantage Plus creative enhancements. I want all of these off. I don't want it to start putting stuff over my ad. I don't want video touch-ups. So I go in, I make sure all of these are off. And then I don't want it translated because I can't work with someone that doesn't speak English anyways. So I don't want any of these translations. One thing you really, really need to check with each ad is this, related media. It will, once you upload your video, if you have other videos uploaded in your business suite, it will automatically add these related media. And these are like completely different ads. So I'm making ad sets for all these ads and I want to test them individually, but then it's adding related media and will show any of these videos as this ad. So get rid of this. I don't want any related media. I want this ad and this ad set to just be this one video. Definitely don't want creative image generation. And then I check in here, these creative enhancements, make sure these are off. Essential enhancements, again, it will by default turn on relevant comments. I went in and I turned this off and then I just got sick of doing it. And so I just leave it on. It really just shows comments under your ad. You just need to monitor and make sure you don't get negative or mean comments. A lot of people comment on my videos saying that they're AI and they're not. I just go film out in the mountains. So if those comments come in, I just delete the comment or hide it and I block that person because I don't want any of my ad spend being wasted showing that person an ad. And because they commented, they're probably going to see more and more of my ads. So I leave this on. I just monitor my comments. Again, all these meta suggestions, like don't do any of these. You don't want video touch-ups. You don't want text improvements. Don't want translation. Creative testing, that's what we're doing manually. You don't want that. And then if you're ready to go, you can publish. I typically will set all this up and then just close. Go through and set up the campaign, set up the ad set, set up the ad like I showed you. Do all that just for one. And then you're going to go back to your ad sets and you're going to duplicate the ad set. You want to turn off this Advantage Plus, hit continue, and then you want to put it in the original campaign, and then however many ads you have, let's say you have 5 ads, you're going to duplicate it 4 more times. Same budget, same settings, all of that. Cool. So now you have all these copies in here. You can go in and edit, and you're basically just setting up all of your other ads, but with the duplication, you're keeping all the same settings. Now you can go into one of these, let's say ad set 2. Sometimes it shows you all your ads. I just refresh the page and then it'll just show me the one ad. Edit this, go into where your creative is, delete the creative, set up creative, video ad. We're gonna do, let's say this is my second ad. We'll do that. All the same options. None of this should have changed. Done. Every time that you change out your creative, it's going to add this related media. Make sure you go in, delete these. You don't want any related media. And now that one's good to go. Now I'd close, go back to my ad set. I'd go in and set up ad set 3 with the next ad. That's why it's important to name these well and keep them all organized. And you just go through and set all those up. And then once you have these all edited and set up, you just click this, select all your ad sets, see all your ads, select all your ads, and hit publish. And it'll publish all the ads at once. This fix error, it basically says that it won't show it in other placements, just on Reels. I haven't found that to be true. I just ignore it and my ad still shows up on normal Instagram feed. So just make sure you have a 16:9 ad. And then I'll typically use square guidelines in DaVinci Resolve when I'm editing. You just want to make sure all of your info, your captions kind of fit within a square in the middle, because on your Instagram feed, it's not going to show the whole height. It'll probably take half a day to kind of process, get everything ready, and before you start seeing some results come in, and you just let it run. And I customize these columns here. If you go to columns, customize columns, I want to see results. This will show me how many leads this ad has brought in, the cost for each lead, the total amount I spent, and then this 3-second video plays rate per impressions. This is a percentage of how many people that saw the ad stopped and watched it for 3 seconds. So in here, I'm kind of looking for like a 20 to 30% range. A lot of my good ads are in the low to mid 20s. Click-through rate is a good metric to track. That's what percentage of people clicked on your ad and went to your form. So for a completely cold audience, anything above 1% is pretty good. Most of my click-through rates are like 2-ish, like anywhere from like 1.8 to 2.5%. That's pretty good. So some of these metrics don't matter. I would really pay attention to click-through rate and your hook rate, your 3-second video plays per impression. You want those numbers to be as high as possible. And then cost per result, that's just how much money each lead is costing you. So that's another good one to track. And then just overall results. If you have 5 ads running, even if some of these metrics are not quite as high, but one ad is pulling in 5 leads in a couple days and another ad is only pulling in 1, probably want to keep the one that's delivering higher leads. Typically what I'll do is I'll set up a testing batch, let it run for a couple days. Pretty early on, you can kind of see ones that aren't performing that well. I'll turn those off and save the money and let the other ones run. And if there are some that are kind of close, just let them keep going 5-7 days and then make your decision if you want to turn some of them off and keep the other ones on. We're just going to do create. We're going to do another leads one. And we're going to do YouTube ad scaling. So in this new campaign, your scaling campaign, you don't want to do any testing in here. You don't want to add new creatives into this. You're going to do campaign budget. And this is the daily budget for the whole campaign. So if you have multiple ad sets, different ads, Meta will distribute the budget to the ads that it thinks are working better. Let's say your daily budget, $50. All of this is the same. Hit next. And then I wouldn't create this here. I would go pick your winning ads and duplicate them into a new ad set in this campaign. When it asks what campaign, you pick YouTube ad scaling. And then you'll notice on this ad set level, there is no budget thing. All the other settings are the same. You just want to go through, check everything. Now, this is kind of the one you can scale. And as you get new winners, you can put them into a new ad set within this CBO campaign, and it'll kind of distribute your funds as it thinks that it should. My plan is to basically every quarter or maybe every 6 months, just come up with some new ad creatives, film some new ads, do the whole testing phase, and then the winners of that testing phase for that 6 months or for that quarter will get moved into its own ad set within this scaling campaign. I think that's about it. That's how you set up the ads. Like I said, any questions, leave them below. So your ads are running, they're bringing in some leads. Now what? It's super important that you send that first message to leads right away. You want to catch them right after they fill out the form. There's lots of studies showing that time to first contact is super important when it comes to closing leads. And you also need to follow up consistently. There have been some jobs that it was like the 4th or 5th follow-up when I said, hey, okay, this is my last follow-up. If you're not interested, keep me in mind. And they said, oh yeah, I'm interested. Let's get something booked. So you need to follow up. It feels awkward. I'm not very good at it. And this whole part of the process from lead to close is where I'm struggling the most right now. But you just gotta get over it. You gotta feel uncomfortable. They filled out your lead form. You're probably not gonna annoy them that much. Or if you do, then you lose the job. Not a big deal. But if you don't try, you're gonna lose a lot of leads not following up with them. My number one problem is that I tinker with it too much. I go in there and I set stuff up and then I try to optimize it. I try and change things. I bump up my budgets too fast. Meta needs time to send these ads out, to gather data and change what it's doing. You can't mess with them too much. Every change that you make is gonna reset the learning phase. Things can never stabilize when you're in there tinkering with your ads too much. My first video ad that I ran, the one that started as an organic video, in the video I say I'm looking for new clients in March. And as the end of March approached, I felt like I had to turn that ad off because I said March, but it was my best performing one, even as I added other ads into that system. And this was before I was doing testing. I was trying to follow the general Andromeda advice. So I put the new ads in, they didn't perform as well. I turned off the March ad and everything kind of halted. It didn't really know what to do. My best performing ad was now off. So I decided to turn it back on and leads started coming in again. But changing all that stuff around really kind of messed up my system. It never really got back to where it was. And so really, you just don't tinker with it too much. If things are working, don't touch it. And when you film your videos, don't say the specific month. Now my new ads say, I'm looking for 5 new clients this month. And so they can be any month of the year. I can run them all the time. Another problem is trusting that Andromeda update like you're a big advertiser. You can't put too much creative and not enough spend because there's not enough money to send those ads out to enough people to get the data to learn. Meta will just pick the first ad that has any positive engagement, whether that's like an Instagram follow or one lead comes in, and just dumps all your money into that one ad, and you don't really get to test the other ones. And that might not even be the best performing one, it's just the one that got an early signal. So you have to work like a small advertiser, kind of what I outlined in this video. Split up the ads, give them their own budget, and really see what the winners are, what the losers are. My last major problem is just my lead to close process. I need to refine all that. The goal is to just get the conversation started, get some replies from them, and then you can kind of share some value and eventually work into pricing. So that's pretty much everything I'm doing right now. The next steps for me, I want to try and automate maybe some of these initial messages and the initial follow-ups until I get a reply from them, and then I can step in. I got to look into some automation stuff. I'm not really rushing that. Right now, I just have in Apple Notes, I have my first message saved, and I'll copy and paste that and just customize it a little bit. I also want to create some other offers for my ads and my business. So maybe run some ads for video services that I do for businesses, some branding shoots. I get asked, people will come in for a headshot, but they really want what's called like a branding shoot, where they have some lifestyle images, some images of them at work. It's a little bit more than just a simple headshot. So maybe that's something I can market towards professionals, entrepreneurs. All right, guys, I think that's it. I hope there's some value in here. I hope this helps you. Please let me know in the comments if you're gonna try these ads, if you are trying these ads and they work for you. If you have some tips on that lead to close process, drop them in there. I could use the help. And if you find ads that are absolute killer and they're just printing money, let me know what you did. I'm always trying to improve. I'm not an expert. I just wanna share what worked for me. Hopefully it helps you. Catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.